Hey, what's up guys? Everywhere you look these days you see phones with tall screens and notch cutouts for the selfie cam. But in the quest to shave bezels, Oppo is at the cutting edge of innovation. I'm Will for GSM Arena and this is our Oppo Find X review. The first thing you notice about the Oppo Find X is its stunning design. Glass phones with tall screens aren't too out of the ordinary these days, but nobody's doing it quite like Oppo. The color scheme is either Bordeaux red or Glacier blue, and both are quite eye-catching. The hue gets brighter and more intense towards the thin aluminum edges, which are also painted. This phone is curvy. The rounded corners and sloping sides reflect light from different angles, giving a crystalline appearance. You may notice something's missing on the back, the rear camera setup. It's all hiding inside of Oppo's signature slide-out module near the top. This is what really defines the Oppo Find X. It houses the front and rear cameras, the camera flash, and the 3D facial scanner, and slides out when you need any of them. Since there's no fingerprint reader, the facial scanner is your go-to option for unlocking, so the phone has to slide out every time you unlock it. The good thing is that it's quite fast.
It's a pretty advanced scanner too, similar to the one on the iPhone X. It projects 15,000 dots to scan your facial features, and is much more accurate than camera-based readers.
Since it's infrared, it even works in the dark, and it won't be tripped up by sunglasses or a hat. You can also opt for it to only work with your eyes open too, for added security. Though you do need to slide out for photos and unlocking, you don't need to for calls. The actual earpiece is on the pop-up module, but there's a grill on the front glass that lets the sound through. Having movable parts like this could be a recipe for disaster. It isn't watertight, and if that mechanism fails, it's bad news. The slider does move in under pressure, which should protect it a bit from falls. And Oppo stands by its durability claims, saying it can withstand over 300,000 slides. We'll have to see. But the result of these innovations is that Oppo was able to make this phone totally bezel-less, with no notch at the top, and with an almost unbroken surface design. The drawback is that it could have some deficiencies in structural stability, which some tests online have shown. Ouch. The Oppo Find X has a beautiful 6.4-inch curved AMOLED screen. An interesting note is that Oppo managed to embed an ambient light sensor inside of the panel. Oppo calls it a panoramic arc display, in the same vein as Samsung's Infinity display. Even though it's only 1080p and 400 ppi, everything looks gorgeous and sharp, and you get those deep blacks typical of an AMOLED. Brightness is alright for an AMOLED at 430 nits, though it can't go any higher when you use it outdoors. Sunlight legibility is still excellent. Unlike Samsung, Oppo doesn't offer many display options. You can change white balance between warm, regular, and cold. But color representation is super accurate and conforms to the DCI-P3 color space. The Oppo Find X brings an always-on display, so you can check the time and see notifications at a glance. You can also set it on a schedule to save battery. For audio, the Find X has a single bottom-firing speaker. Though we always hope for a stereo setup, this one tests out well. Loudness is very good, and so is the quality, with good bass and rich sound. Since there's no 3.5mm jack, you'll have to plug in headphones to the USB-C port at the bottom. Unfortunately, sound quality here was a bit of a disappointment in our tests, with below average volume and unimpressive stereo separation. The Oppo Find X has dual SIM support, and the SIM tray is dual-sided. It's quite unusual. There is no card slot for expandable storage, so you have to make do with the onboard memory. Now on to the user interface. It's Oppo's ColorOS 5.1, based on Android 8.1 Oreo. It's quite far from stock Android with a lot of customizations. You can use the standard navigation bar or swipe gesture navigation. If you opt for gestures, there are plenty of configurations to choose from, but generally, swiping up from the middle acts like a home button, and swiping up elsewhere either opens the task switcher or brings you back. The Find X doesn't have an app drawer. Everything is kept on the home screen. Even though there are quite a few preloaded apps, the OS doesn't feel bloated. It's all well optimized and quite snappy. There is an AI engine which learns your habits for better resource management, and also shows you information on home screen panels based on your recent activity and history. And there are a bunch of themes and wallpapers you can choose from to add a bit of flair. At the heart of the Oppo Find X is the top-of-the-line Snapdragon 845 chipset. On top of that, it boasts a whopping 8 GB of RAM. In benchmarks, it delivers a top-notch performance similar to other flagships in this class. Everything runs smooth and lag-free. The Find X's large 3700 mAh battery scored an endurance rating of 90 hours in our proprietary tests. Not incredible, but pretty decent. Charging this battery shouldn't be a problem at all though, thanks to the 20-watt Voke fast charger that comes in the box. With it, we went from 0 to 50% charge in 30 minutes. Sorry, there's no wireless charging here. Just to note that there will be another version of the Find X called the Super Flash Edition, coming out with a slightly smaller battery and support for Super Voke charging. This should get you from 0 to 100% in only 35 minutes. The Oppo Find X packs a 16-megapixel f2.0 main shooter with OIS, and a 20-megapixel f2.2 one which helps with depth sensing and low-light shots. There's an expert mode for manual controls. Or you can go with AI-powered scene recognition that adjusts settings automatically for your shots. The adjustments are pretty subtle. In daylight, photos we took turned out very good, with lots of detail, excellent contrast, and lively colors. The samples are sharp enough, but not over-sharpened, just how we like it. The dynamic range is surprisingly high, even without HDR. We generally left HDR off. HDR shots come out over-sharpened, with little to no benefit in dynamic range. As for zoom, don't let the 2x switch fool you. It's purely digital zoom through cropping, and definitely not lossless. In low light, the 16-megapixel samples we got with the Find X were excellent. They have good contrast and detail, and noise is impressively low. Oppo says this due to processing algorithms made possible by the second camera. Of course, where there's a dual camera, you should expect a portrait mode. These are among the better portraits we've seen. Subjects are well separated, and the transitions from sharp to defocused are well done. The selfie camera is 25 megapixels and f2.0, with fixed focus. It uses Oppo's 3HDR tech to create better HDR selfies, with the HDR effect applied in real time and visible on the viewfinder. The effect is excellent and a great image booster. Resolve detail in selfies is flagship grade, and the colors and contrast are superb. But if you don't hit the sweet spot where the focus is fixed, your photos won't be tack sharp. There are selfie portraits too, which use the 3D face sensor for depth. They look great, comparable to the rear-facing ones, and there are plenty of portrait lighting options to enhance them with. 4K videos can be recorded at 30 FPS, and are quite impressive with more than enough detail, great contrast, high dynamic range, and true-to-life colors. There is no digital stabilization, but there is OIS. The 1080p videos are also 30 FPS and OIS only. They come out a bit softer than we expected, but the contrast, colors, and dynamic range are still great. So, the Oppo Find X. Design-wise, it really takes the cake. It's gorgeous, even more elegant than the Vivo XS, which also has a pop-out selfie cam. On top of that, the Oppo has a huge screen, secure face unlock, great performance, and nice-looking photos. Like any product though, it's not perfect. There's no waterproofing, and we're a bit skeptical of the slider's durability, no matter what Oppo says. Wireless charging and stereo speakers would have been nice too. The Oppo Find X isn't cheap either, at around $900. But at this price point, a lot of people are looking for something special, one of a kind, and for that, the Find X definitely delivers. For now at least. Because of that, we have to tip our hat to Oppo. Thanks for watching guys. Hit like if you enjoyed this video and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And you're always welcome to stop by gsmmarina.com for our full test findings. See ya!